Good afternoon, everybody. Ben here, and what I'm going to be doing is showing you how I do my rolling averages. So I'm going to actually update my model on camera, and sorry about that. Anyway, sorry about my phone blowing up. At least it's on vibrate, so it won't be too loud. So the way I do this is, as you can see, I typed in the average and then I just slide it over one column. Now this rounds it to 2 decimal places. And the reason why I'm typing this is because watch what happens when I do this. 2020 Jan week 3. When I delete that and scroll back up. Notice how it does this? Well, kind of does that. So what I'm now going to do is type here 44.94 and 52.59. Now here's the interesting thing to note. Overall, so 2018, the average that I had in the period that I studied was the best for Trump. And then it went horribly down in the first quarter of 19. Then it went back up a decent amount in the second quarter, went up a tiny bit, but disapproval also went up in quarter 3. Then approval went down significantly and disapproval went up to a degree. And then we go back where it's going the opposite direction, but not significantly in the disapproval column. Then it goes back the other direction, and now we've gone significantly down in disapproval and up slightly in approval for January. Now this is, of course, January is kind of fluctuating a lot. Now, when I get to the end of the month, I'm going to average these out, and it'll probably include a 4th week, right? And I'm going to collapse this in 2019 for the year, and that'll give me the average for that year after that. But I'm going to leave the month, and I'm almost tempted to leave this quarter, but I probably won't. And this will shut up. For some reason, went offline. Anyway, so I go back to here. Now I'm going to add in the approval rating polls. 44.53. Okay, cool. 44 and 53. Decreases at 48 and 51. Okay. 48, 51. And that'll drop it a decent amount. And then the next one is 45 and 51. 45 and 51. And that is all we have today. So now I'm going to go over to my Senate poll. Scroll down. That way I can just kind of copy paste 4511, 45.11, and it's 52 and 73. There we go. Now, since I haven't had any new Senate polls, I have been updating it, but I have to go very direct into things. Anyway, that is all the polls. Next one I'm going to bring up is YAPMS. And because I was doing this the old way, I have to kind of do that. Control-Shift-R. Come on. Load it. And I should have actually had this loaded before I started recording. But since I don't have any statewide polls, I'm going to do this. Come on now. I'll wait for that to actually show that it's fully loaded. Nah, okay. We're getting there. And I'll show you what the gradients mean as I fill this map out. But we just have to wait. So while we wait for this to load up, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the news that we've had today, which is MLK Day. So go ahead and, in your comments, tell me if you think we've achieved Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream in the comments, okay? And, of course, likes, comments, and subscriptions also help in general, and I greatly appreciate them. Anyway. But at Lobby Day here in Virginia, which is the day citizens get to actually go in person to petition their elected representatives, and there was massive protest, sort of, but massive lobbying by gun owners here in Virginia there. And there were a lot of people, and basically everyone is peaceful at this event, despite the governor's fears, and despite the portrayal of the people who were showing up to Lobby Day being a violent mob who was there to storm the State House and violently remove people. There were a few hilarious moments that I'm not sure about what the optics seem, but personally my favorite is, and I'm not going to show a picture of it, but some people created made a fake guillotine and and brought it along with them to Lobby Day. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was epic. I thought it was just the greatest thing ever. Obviously, it can be construed in some pretty bad ways, but I think the dedication to show that they really aren't backing down is just, yes. Anyway, so let's go ahead and show you guys where we're going. So that's a decent spread. So that's safe. That's 13 points, and that means it is likely because it's under 15. That is about 3%. It's less than 5, so it's tilt. Arkansas is safe because it's greater than 15. California is safe because it's greater than 15, but it's for the Democrats. Colorado is under 10, but over 5, so that is lean. Connecticut, that is safe, if I'm doing my math correctly. DC, that is definitely safe, which there was a super safe category that I made. That is still just over 10%, so that is in the likely column, but it's fairly close, and that's Delaware. Florida is in the tilt column for Donald Trump. Georgia, that is 6 points. That actually makes it a lean. Hawaii, safe. Idaho is safe. Illinois is safe. Indiana is safe. And as I go through this, I can generally tell, let's lean, where states are going to be as I get further down the list. Kansas is definitely safe. And because I generally know where certain states are, looking at the map. Some of the safe ones I can't tell because it varies, but if I look at the percentages, I generally know where things are going to be further on down. So Louisiana, that's safe. Maine is in that tilt category, which means if I go to that, and both of them are in the likely column, and that's a tilt, that means these states are going to be extremely close here. Maryland, there we go. Massachusetts, and the reason why I'm scrolling down and just verifying is because I can't make 100% assumptions. That is well within a point. That's almost within a quarter of a point. It might actually be within a quarter of a point. That's still a tilt. If it were an exact tie, I'd probably shade it as such and have to go into the list. Minnesota is in that tilt column as well. Mississippi is safe, obviously. Missouri is safe, as we all know. Montana is in the safe category now. Nebraska, that is safe as a state, but that also means that the 2nd Congressional District is probably a tilt. Nevada is in the tilt category, same with New Hampshire. And that means that it's getting to be where I can tell it's a close election. New Jersey, that isn't likely, though I think that maybe needs to be changed. New Mexico is in the lean. New York, by the way, I did remove Donald Trump's bonus that I had been giving him in New York because I think I'm not sure if it's going to help him, especially now that he's not officially a New York resident, but it might because I still think of him as a New Yorker. It's pretty obvious he's still a New Yorker, even if officially he's a Florida resident. North Carolina, that is in the tilt category, which I think is fair. North Dakota, safe, obvious. Can't confirm South Dakota. Ohio, that is in the lean category. There we go. Oklahoma, obviously safe. Oregon, it's in the likely column, though. It's pretty close to safe. That is tilting towards the Republicans. That's Pennsylvania, and that pretty much tells me that Donald Trump is going to come out ahead in this map. Just barely in the likely column for Rhode Island. South Carolina, that's in the likely column. South Dakota, clearly that's going to be safe, and I don't think we should be surprised. Tennessee, and I think Texas it's in the lean category. That should be telling because that will tell us where battlegrounds are going to be in the future. Utah. 51 would be likely, so that's safe. Vermont, yeah, that's obviously safe. Virginia, I'm just going to trust my model. That's in the tilt category. I wouldn't be too surprised if that's actually where it winds up being, but I also won't be shocked if it turns red because of some of the stuff that's going on here in the state when it comes to guns. People aren't happy with the way the Democrats went. A lot of people voted for the Democrats expecting an infrastructure package and marijuana legalization and a few other social policies. But there were a lot of gun owners who said, they're not going to go straight for gun control. Well, guess what? They went straight for gun control, and they went straight for draconian gun control, which Virginians are not happy with. As you can tell, if you look at anything about Lobby Day or any of the news the past couple of months coming out of the state because of, if you look at the Second Amendment sanctuary stuff that's being passed in a lot of this place, and a lot of Virginia. West Virginia, that's obviously going to be safe. Wisconsin, that's for Donald Trump. And Wyoming is pretty clearly going to be safe. And if you look at the polling, that's a 1% popular vote loss for Donald Trump. Okay, cool. And I didn't screw up my model, which is good. Say good. Alright. So, what can we now conclude from this map? Well, the first thing we can conclude is Donald Trump is improving his numbers. And part of that, I think, is actually the impeachment because it's been botched completely by the Democrats who had a legitimate case at one point, but now, because they're not even charging Donald Trump with a crime, they're just saying he's done some things we don't like. It's looking more and more like it was just a partisan hack job, and that's going to turn off a lot of independents from the Democratic Party. So this has wound up actually doing what I thought it would have done, which is help Donald Trump and the Republican Party. As long as the Republicans provide a fair process in the Senate, allowing witnesses to be called and allowing for some debate. As long as they make the rules in the Senate fair, I think they're going to stand to come out better for this. We'll see what happens with some of these states in the tilt category for both parties, quite obviously. But I definitely think Donald Trump has a path to expand his electoral college victory from 2016. In Michigan would be the first, Minnesota, Virginia, Nevada. I think Maine's a bit more likely. New Hampshire's also a good pickup opportunity. In the right circumstances, I could see Colorado flipping. But that's really about the max. Maybe Delaware, but I'm really not so sure about that one. New Mexico is a long shot. So is Oregon, in my opinion. I think the real expansion opportunities would be, the most likely would probably be for expansion of the Electoral College map. Obviously, Donald Trump would have to win Michigan to expand it, but as kind of a qualifier. But let's say Michigan, Minnesota would be the most likely. After that, I'd say New Hampshire, and then Maine, and then Virginia. I think those would be the most likely areas to expand for Donald Trump. Nevada, no, that takes a little bit more work. Same with Colorado and same with Oregon. Those are just going to take a little bit more work because of the demographic shifts in those areas, as well as the inbuilt partisanship of these areas. But that's kind of where I think the expansion will come. Democrats obviously can make pickups from 16. Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania being the most obvious, and then Florida, Arizona, and North Carolina really just depend on their turnout. Anything else, maybe Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. Anything else excluding Iowa and Ohio is really just wishful thinking. They're not going to pick up Georgia. Maine's 2nd congressional district, maybe. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. But Georgia's not happening. Texas is definitely not happening. But Iowa and Ohio, I would say that would also be on the cards, especially if they're going to be winning a place like North Carolina, Florida, because Iowa and Ohio are a bit swingier than North Carolina, and especially more swingy than Arizona is. But that's really where I think the expansion is for both Donald Trump as well as the Democratic Party, whoever the nominee winds up being. That's kind of where I think things sit, politically speaking, in this nation. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.